Good morning, everybody. This is Christy from the Be the Light YouTube channel. I thank you so much for stopping by, and as always, I send you love. I am going to talk about a lot of things in this video. Some energetic updates, some of the symptoms, upgrades that we are receiving, and about the gift of discernment. I tend to refrain from, and that's where I'm going to begin at, the gift of discernment. I refrain from speaking about world events, no matter if it's on YouTube or my social media pages, because people have pain. And my heart is so full of love and compassion that I don't want to cater to pain. And there's a limit to what we can possibly say that will be heard correctly according to pain limitations or consciousness in general. So I have waited, and I talked to you about yesterday or the day before that I made post after post after post about something, or several things that have really not triggered me, but I want to express what is true behind it. But because my heart is telling me to stay in alignment with love, which is who I am, I couldn't put my perspective out there, because my perspective, although it is healed, will still come from other people's pain. I hope that makes complete sense to you. And when we are a true person of light, a true being of light, this is how it's going to end up for you. When you get to a certain level of your process, probably closer to your purpose, this is how it's going to be. It's going to be an internal war between trying to speak truth and never causing harm. And always giving love. It is a very difficult choice. And it's important to not move unless you are certain that everything can be reflected in love. Of course, that's your choice. If that's how you want to be, don't move. Which means don't post anything that you are not certain is love. Don't talk about anything unless you are certain it reflects love. You know, I limit who I can talk to about this, and it's basically my husband. My point of view is from a higher perspective, always. And for the most part, his is as well. Of course, mine might sound a little more crazier to him, but I can speak openly to him, and I am grateful for that. And at least I'm able to get my voice out there to whoever, to him. And that's something I want to express to you. If you have one person, and I hope that you do, I hope you have somebody. And if you don't, you can always reach out to me. I know what it's like to feel alone, to not be able to express your openness and your truth, your heart, whether it's about you, the world, whatever it is. I understand. And you are not alone, and you don't have to be alone. But I hope you have somebody close to you. And if you don't know that you have someone close to you, it begins with you opening your heart a little bit more and seeing if you can trust yourself to be honest. And that will help you grow and strengthen in your own light. But it will also allow the person that you are talking to begin to grow in their own light. Your true honesty, that is a reflection of love and divinity, opens up someone else's. So the gift of discernment, I have been waiting and waiting for God to speak to me about this. And So he did last night. His phrase was, "The light of Christ will help you see through the mask." Or the light, I put of Christ because not everybody understands. The light will help you see through the mask. The mask is a veil that clouds your judgment. The veil can be in your mind, because I go a whole lot deeper than I ever have before. Your veil can be your own consciousness, your own limited consciousness. The veil can be your heart, because it is blocked. The veil can be another individual who wears a mask, who says, "I am one thing," but is another in reality. It is falsehoods. It is lies. It is deceit. It is negativity. It is evil. It is the devil. Whatever you believe, that's what it is. It is a hidden agenda to keep you suppressed. That veil is there to help you be suppressed. When you can use your better judgment, not based upon your pain, your limitations, your fears, what you have been trained to believe, when you look above that perspective, you can see through the veil. And it doesn't matter if it's the veil of falsehood or the veil that prevents you from knowing God. Because falsehood can be you, your ideas, like I just said, or others in your life. There's great symbolism in every single thing that we observe. The mask. Do you get what I am talking about here and why God spoke to me about? The light will help you see through the mask. People are actually wearing masks now because they believe in a cause. A cause that, and this goes towards the video I wanted to make. A cause that's founded on truth will never cater to your fear. A cause that is founded on truth, in love, in togetherness, in life, in unity, is precisely that. It caters to making you powerful, not limited. It's liberating, not separating. It's freedom, not enslavement. Everything that is taking place right now, of course, is a part of the matrix. Not everybody understands that it is about their perspective. It is a fight between good and evil. The good and evil that is within us. The good and evil that exists outside of us. We have to stay focused because the veil is trying to get thicker and thicker and thicker. The mask is trying to prevent us from really seeing what's true. Being a human within this matrix is a tricky thing because of the ability to coexist with other individuals. And that's why you have to be able to see clearly. I know that everything that's going on and what it's about, but other people are not at that level. you have to be able to speak according to their understanding. Not everybody believes in the laws of reaping and sowing. Not everybody believes in the laws of attraction, which is the same thing. Not everybody believes that you create your own reality. Not everybody believes that things outside of us are triggers that move us away from our true light. Not everybody believes in the concept of a matrix. When you can interpret things to make it have sense, to make people live within their heart, you remove a veil, a limit, for them to begin to see clearly. How it leads them in their journey is up to them and where it takes them. That's none of our business. As long as we make them see clearly by being ourselves as best as we possibly can in honor and in truth, and speaking love. Love is magical. It's really magical. Yet our words create spells. So there's my perspective and God's word on the ability to see through the masks or veil. So I wanted to now talk about again the energies and the symptoms, as well as what we are upgrading. And something that, this is something that I did experience a few days ago on the 26th as I was upgrading. But it's a message that came a long time ago that God spoke to me about, that I kind of understood because of my personal experience going through certain levels or the veils of heaven or ascending higher. You'll get through certain levels there where it is darkness. Yes, dark as in the light is turned off, but of course when the light is turned off, there can be an endless amount of negativity that we can and will come in contact with. And one, that is the reason why God tries his hardest to strengthen us. Because in order to get where we have to go through some levels of negativity. Not just our own purging process, but where other dimensions lie that are just dark. Because light and dark exist no matter where we go, whether we're here on this earth plane or ascend somewhere. And it's important for you to be able to weed out the lies, even in other dimensions. The veil is there in other dimensions. So I love that God gave me that message yesterday, because it does pertain, because God works spiritually with you, energetically with you, deeper than the human mind will allow it to. And so I recall in my very beginning of my process of certain things that I saw. And yes, my response was to be terrified. I was terrified. And it prevented me for a little bit from moving forward because of that fear that I was so accustomed to feeling, and that was easier to deal with because of that familiarity. It's harder to change your mind. It's harder to change your heart. So man usually sticks with what they know. Unfortunately, I got to a point and I said no. I have to conquer my fear. God says to conquer your fear. Otherwise it controls you. And that means it is not God within you. You have to be able to see it here in front of you physically. And you have to be able to see it in other dimensions and not allow it to affect you. I was hit a couple of days ago with a phrase. And I might have mentioned it in my other video. I'm not going to repeat it. It's not for you. It was for me. And it was my, if you want to call it a test, it's my lesson in knowing where I am and where I stand. You will have to pass that type of negativity to defeat it and to know where you stand. If we never have a negative experience come into our reality, whether here in our human form or within our spirit, we'll never know our true capability, how far we can shine. And so again, last night I saw some things. I also felt a little bit of fear last night. And remember, I spoke about this in several videos. When you have this sense of fear that comes on out of nowhere for no specific reason, like you're about to go to bed or you're trying to create stillness and you have the sense of fear or anxiety, anger, whatever that one emotion is that has worked against you for the most part of your lifetime, it will come out of nowhere. That is the indication that you are about to receive upgrade. And that's precisely what I did last night. I did see things. It gave me a bit of a physical reaction. I am not going to lie. I had a little bit of a jolt. It's something that I have always been afraid of since I was a little girl. I saw. But you have to look from your soul at every situation and defeat it. The quicker that you can say, no, you are false. Whether you do have an emotional reaction, which creates a physical reaction, the quicker you can let that go and see who you are in truth, in divinity, as your God and Goddess self, you can have a little bit more of who you are, because you have defeated those veils, the levels that are deeper and darker. The whole reason behind our growth is to defeat, to rise. So what we are upgrading is, if you have the capability of seeing, hearing, smelling, sensing, just knowing, those are beginning to upgrade or will be enhanced during this time. You will be able to pick up on more sounds, different voices. And you see, if you were not strong, if you didn't pass a certain amount of, if you want to call them temptations, or if you fell for the fear, you wouldn't be able to have those gifts, because it would be clouding them. It would be suppressing them as a result of your emotional state. If I lived within fear, I couldn't hear my angels speaking to me. If I lived in fear, I couldn't see the face of God and know it was His. If I lived within fear of the knowingness, I would not trust. So many of us who are experiencing what I spoke about, or will be experiencing what I spoke about in my previous video yesterday, the rising of the heat and the conjunction of the coolness. Those two must work together. I had deep burning last night, but I also experienced afterwards the cooling, which came in a wave. I was hit in the gut again with that wave. I saw first, God warns me, or allows me to know in advance, and so I saw an individual standing and being hit by an ocean wave, which is the water. I hope you can still hear me. My husband's trying to call me. I am going to have to push pause. Hold on. Thank you. Sorry about that. My husband called, very excited about the veil being lifted, or attempting to be lifted by everybody. And so the other day, I forgot to mention in that other video, is that I said to receive is to believe. And I am a person, of course, if you haven't noticed, my teachings, my ascended master is Jesus Christ. He teaches me, of course, everyone in the Bible, not everyone, but I mean, I am guided biblically by, Mother Mary, Jesus Christ, God, of course, and other individuals who have been here and ascended. And so I am given from time to time verses, and I want to really emphasize with you, trust your path regardless of where it is. If you don't trust in your heart and eliminate the fear, you'll never find your truth. Your path may not take you biblically. It may take you through a different, and I'm not saying God hasn't given me more information. I haven't limited myself. I am not limited to where my teachings take me, because He has guided me through different types of origins, okay? I'm not saying religion, because religion in the man concept is controlling and very limited. I'm saying origins. I am not limited to just the Bible. And if you really focus and hear my words, you'll hear certain things that I talk about. Chakras is not a biblical term, although it does talk about light, which is energy and things like that. And anyway, I'm getting off topic here. So I went to, I am in the Father, and the Father is within me. And when you take in the Holy Spirit, you have the Father, and you have the Son, you have the Holy Spirit, and you have yourself. Everything is united. There is that that connection that must be made together. And so I received the hands in the receiving mode of Jesus Christ. And wings that began to rotate in the clockwise direction. Our energy vortex in our chakra system and part of our Merkaba will turn clockwise. The universe rotates in a counterclockwise. Together, you make the infinity sign. The number 8 as well. So the wings rotated 3 times. And my understanding is that it would take 3 days. 3 days. And I will have to make another video about the 3 days, because if you are a biblical person, you know that Christ rose after the 3rd day. In this video, I really appreciate those who actually watch all of my videos. I have a lot of information through it. I talk a lot. I try to be as thorough as I possibly can. And so I expressed to you about the solar plexus being our powerhouse, and it is aligning with the Sun, Sirius, Orion, and Giza. My solar plexus has been, of course, spinning along with my heart, because the heart has to still be activated. Your heart makes you know more, in truth. Your solar plexus is coming online, and I have also been having a very tender belly button. It's been very itchy lately, and if yours is this is of course going to resonate with you. And I remember, though, it brought me back to when I was younger, a child. I always had an itchy belly button, and I couldn't figure it out. And of course I never talked to my parents about it, because, you know, hey, it's just your belly button. But it used to itch all the time, and it makes me wonder, was I more connected back then? Of course, we're children. We're more pure at heart, pure in mind. We're not tainted by worldviews and things like that, so you were always connected. So my understanding is, and I'll make a separate video like I explained about the true process of raising the Christ oil. I expressed this yesterday in my video. You can be told something, whether it's by your guides, your intuition, God, your higher self, your soul family, about a process. And just because you're being told at that very moment, like I was told several months ago about this day, doesn't mean you're getting it then. You have to really understand where you are. You have to feel. So when I was told 2 months ago, it didn't feel right. I knew it wasn't really taking place. So therefore I knew I had still a process of learning and understanding, of course eliminating. I knew I had a lot of things I still needed to eliminate. I am not my higher self yet. Therefore I have a lot more learning to do. Therefore I have a lot more clearing to do. Those that I'm not even aware of. And so last night, as I rested, the solar plexus again became, I got that hit in the gut again, like I said, where the cooling began from the water. The water is necessary. It rose and made me feel very cold. And then the heat began. The combination of heat and cooling, heat and cooling. Our energy vortex along our meridians and all of the other things that I can't recall right now does create an energetic flow that resembles the infinity sign. So we have that in here. That means we are balanced. When we can get to this level right here that we are of raising the Christ within, we have complete balance. But there will be a few days that the Christ, your godlike self, must sit within the solar plexus, and that is considered to be the manger where Jesus was born at. He has to be there, kind of being nurturing and guided and loved a little bit. And I think that is also why my belly button is itching. I don't have that understanding yet, but that's what my heart is expressing to me. And after 3 days, which I think I have one more day to go, it's going to rise a little further up. It's going to sit within your shoulders. You might begin to feel the burning and cooling effect. Also, I want you to be more aware of your physical body here, the sensations. I have more burning in the left side. Your left side is your masculine side. And I feel more cooler on the right, which is the feminine side. The energy is coming up from our feet, up everywhere, and it's rotating. It's coming up in the figure 8, all the way through our body. The figure 8, the figure 8. The energy is flowing through us all the way up and will rise to our crown eventually. But before it does that, the energy will go through your brain, your pineal gland, your pituitary gland. Everything will become light. So I hope this kind of helps. And before I go, all I want to really say is learning to trust is so important. Learning to trust. And if you have negative emotions, you aren't learning to trust. Trusting in what your physical body is feeling. Trusting in what you are sensing internally. Because your body is beginning to align with spirit. And it can seem damaging to us because we're not used to it. But it is moving us to be in alignment with love and divinity. And again, wherever it takes you, there's no wrongdoing. It's your purpose. It's your truth. But if you live within the doubts, the fears, the confines of all of the masks that veil, you'll never see past it. Learn to rise above it. The mask is everywhere. It could be within our mind, within our heart, within what we see, what we feel, what we allow to exist. This is Christy. Much love, health, and healing your way. I am bringing purpose to your life. Take care.